Nicole, you need to flip. You're like this, Nicole.
There we go.
There we go. Good. Hello, Charlotte. Oh, Heather.
Hi,
And
Tracy.
welcome. Hey, Amy. And hi, Jen.
Hi, Tracy.
Good.
Hi, ladies.
You're a little out of focus, Jen. Or maybe you know what? Maybe I think it's that. Yeah, there you're better. It's that window behind you or the door. It's the door behind you.
It's a window.
A window. Move towards the painting. There you go. That wall. See, it's just the TV and me. No, sorry. Yes. Hi, Nanette.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, Liz. Hey, how are you doing? Yeah, so we're gonna have a few more pop in. I think Susie's gonna join us, and then we're gonna have Sarah back. And Sarah, oh, there, Susie's there. Hi, Susie. How's the Wi-Fi today? Turn your volume up.
How's that?
Perfect. Okay, now we got you.
Nice background.
I know. She's a master of all of that. Yeah. So everybody, welcome, and I'm gonna actually introduce you to a very special lady. Well, you're all special, but I want you to meet Amy Tung. So Amy, I think she's on mute.
She must be.
I think so.
Yeah. Hi, Mary. Oh, and we have an extra.
Tracy.
Okay, we'll start with Mary, and then we'll get back to Amy. But this is Mary Rolfe Lamonta, and actually she's a great friend of Karen's. Give a happy yes. Thank you, Karen. Actually, she was the one that introduced me and Mary, and we did a very great, I want to say, crazy interview in the middle of the exchange. Well, actually, it was behind Deer and Almond in the back lane. Mary did a book called Eats, and I'll let her explain more about it. But I wanted to bring her in because it kind of is relevant right now, Mary, in this weird time we're in. And just to let you know that Mary is dialing in here and joining us from Maine, US. So you can let us know what's going on in the US. Maybe you could dispel some of the craziness we're hearing too. I don't know.
Crazy Americans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy.
Take it away, Mary. Tell us a little bit about yourself, especially the book Eats. And
So actually, I sort of wrote the book for what we're doing now, actually, without even knowing it. And it was 8 years ago when I was still living in South Africa. And it's all about using what you have in your fridge and your pantry and how to be creative with what you have. And how to make things last longer and how to keep, for example, all your off-cuttings from your vegetables, keep them in a bag in the freezer, and you can make a really good vegetable stock to use in risotto or to use in making soups, because we all seem to be doing those these days. I think is everyone from Winnipeg or in Winnipeg? Yeah. So I think it's a little even colder than it is here in Maine. So I'm actually from Montreal, but I decided to stay here in Maine because I can walk on the beaches still. And I live in an apartment in Montreal, and I just decided that life in a house would be better with a dog than in an apartment in Montreal. But I'm actually really practicing the sort of what I've been talking about for 8 years. And I sort of feel like it's the universe talking to us when we're all stuck at home, and making us be a little more reliant on what we have in our pantry and our fridge and all that stuff. So that's what my book's all about. And it came to me when I was living in South Africa, training chefs in game lodges, and we were delivered food once a week, and I had hyenas eating my sugar. I had monkeys eating my fruit. I had elephants breaking the water and damaging fridges, so things dying. So we actually really had to be inventive and creative. And I started growing my own herbs on sides of walls and stuff in the game lodges. I wasn't allowed, but I did it anyway. That's what I'm doing now. So in the food stores now, you get your little containers of fresh herbs, and you just use them and throw them out. And I actually keep them in water, in a little container in water, and I keep quite a bit of water in there, and it's sort of like aquaponics, and they keep growing. They're doing really well, and I haven't replaced in a month, and they just keep growing new leaves and everything. So I've had fresh basil, mint, parsley, and I have chives in my garden here that have popped through the snow. there's no snow here anymore, but they did pop through the snow. So, and I find that having those fresh herbs, just throwing that onto anything, sort of makes food taste a little bit better. Yeah, so that's basically my book and what I did. And if anyone has any questions, recipe ideas, anything you want to share, I'm happy to share with you.
Yeah, no. What is it like in Maine? I'm just wondering and curious. I mean,
So
I'm fortunate, I think. Pretty quiet, or is it crazy?
No, so in Maine, I mean, people are pretty respecting the rules and everything. All the beaches have been closed, all the parks, the mountains, everything has been closed. So, and initially people were walking beaches on weekends. It was crazy, packed full. And now there are very few people around, and everyone is really respecting their distances. Everyone wears masks and gloves everywhere. It's not like other states in the US. And it does actually sound like a bit of a shit show in the US with listening to Trump. No, but honestly, he's crazy. And I'm saying it because we're all Canadians, so we can say that. But he's a bit crazy, and it's a bit scary. I don't know if anyone saw Trevor Noah's little skit comparing Trump to Idi Amin. And it's hysterical. If you go on YouTube, you have to watch it, because what Trump says, I'm rich, I'm smart, I have a brain. Idi Amin said the same thing. So it's a bit scary. I live in a community where there are a lot of Republicans, so I try to be quiet and I keep my mouth shut. But yeah, it's kind of strange. My son is here from New York and with his girlfriend, and so they received their $1,200 check. Well, they received less because they make enough money not to be receiving that, but they received the check through the IRS. But he has actually prevented checks to going to the most needy because he wanted to put his signature on the check. I don't know if you saw that. And so the people that need it the most, not my son and his girlfriend, but the people that need it most aren't getting the checks because they had to take the checks back and have them all signed by him and then sent out again.
No.
To show you how crazy all that is.
No.
And
Wow.
the people that need it the most aren't listening necessarily to this kind of news. And so when they get the check, they're going to think it's from Trump and they're going to vote for him again.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's fascinating to see what's going on.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to you definitely, Mary. I just want to introduce a couple of new people. I've got Amy. Hi, Amy. So this is Amy Tung. So Amy, we're just kind of, getting acquainted and everything like that. So introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your I Am Love project.
Oh, well, that's kind of, we're undergoing like lots of changes right now. I think COVID just hit us at the right timing. It went from a project of just self-love and empowerment to more of a discussion between us and our community in regards to like mental wellness. So everyone, we support a smaller local charity. We have student volunteers through grades, I think 5 to 8, creating custom intention bracelets. And then we sell online and at different stores in Winnipeg. And at the end of the month, the proceeds are honored to this charity. Then in conjunction with that, we host a mind and body wellness pop-up event where we have a 40-minute intentional fireside discussion with like a counselor, a therapist, a teacher, talking about different various topics like how does codependency impact our lives? And then followed by that, we have an instructor, a 40-minute instructor coming in to do like a sweat event, yoga practice, meditation, Pilates, anything like that, to promote our mental wellness, where it's healing or providing just a better a mood, mind, body, and spirit. So that's us. And then on top of that, we do like different fundraising initiatives. Now we're trying to deliver something for the kids, students who are going to be staying at home throughout the summer. So there's just lots going on with COVID right now. We're constantly evolving and trying to do like different things to support like the now, what do we need in the community. Yeah, that's us.
I want to ask, because that's like a huge thing. Why did you want to do this? How and why did you want to start something like this?
Well, essentially the I Am Love project was my healing modality, where the exercise, and then the seeking out to different platforms for answers, and just healing childhood trauma to become healthier, right? To release those limiting beliefs. So that helped me throughout my journey, and some way, somehow, it just kind of manifested, and I'm just doing it.
Oh, well, you know what? Hey, all of these women here have done and followed their dreams, or, you know, however, but I think that there's a lot of synergy here that we will definitely be able to, you know, want to help in something like this too as well. So we'll get back to you too, Amy, and thanks so much for joining in.
Amazing.
So I'm gonna switch it up to Liz. Liz is actually a neighbor. She's
Yes.
just around the corner. I just like,
Yeah.
yeah, we've been kind of doing our brisk walks, you know, and past your house.
It's the only thing that keeps you sane is out there walking. Hey, I know.
I know. So Liz,
Yeah.
a little background. She is the founder, CEO, president, dishwasher, mama, everything of Swish Productions, Swish Model Agency, Swish Magazine, and also the co-chair of your foundation.
Mhm.
And so what is happening in your world, Liz, which is always like 24/7, a whirlwind?
Yeah, actually, right now it's been quite a change for me. We really felt the effects of the COVID in probably early February, as you know, with the modeling side of it. Models were all in those bigger markets, so we started bringing everyone home. Retail manufacturing, 47% of it is done in and around mainland China, so we really felt the effects of it in February. By the time March rolled around, we were already sort of at half pace. And so for us, I mean, we are just kind of, you know, really just at a standstill work-wise. We're still doing some stuff for clients, but, you know, in a way, not that this is a good situation at all, obviously, but in a way, it's kind of given me an opportunity a little bit to go, okay, hit the reset. What really matters? What, like, really evaluating all the different entities and how they work and what's important. And so it's been quite the change, that's for sure.
I just want to kick it out there because, you know, we're all fashionistas. What is going to happen to the fashion world? Like, there's not going to be a fall fashion.
No, there's not. And actually, we're really kind of watching closely how the landscape is changing. I think even just in terms of marketing, there's going to be a totally different platform when we get back. One thing we're noticing is I think a lot of advertising dollars will be reallocated. I think we're going to see, and this is a positive, but more of a realistic version of models and talent representing brands. I think this is going to actually have a major shift in our industry. And I think some of it's going to be very positive when we come back from this.
Oh, wow. Well, you're going to have to keep us up to speed on that because, you know, we're all definitely interested. And I, for one, I still like to go into a store. I like to see the clothes. I like to go to a fashion show and see the fashion. So it'll be interesting, no doubt.
It's definitely going to be a bit different for a while, I think. Yeah,
for a long time. Well, we'll get back to you. We'll jump into conversation. I just want to say hi to Jen. Jen, you there? Hi. Okay. Well, according to the last time we were talking, you were still making deals there, girl.
It's rare. For me,
She's in real estate, by the way.
I'm in real estate, yeah, and interior decorating, and it has definitely changed. So I'm not wanting to go into people's homes. People don't want me to come into their homes. And when it comes to sourcing, everything has to be done online. So it's a little different. I'm navigating that a bit better with video options. It can come online again, but for right now, I'm taking a bit of a break. The real estate is still going. In fact, the market went up by 8% by end of March.
Wow.
So it's definitely still going. I believe it's due to a couple different things. One, deals that were already started prior to the major shutdowns, we're just finishing. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in April, May, and June. But also the interest rates are so low that buyers are wanting to take a chance and get out into the market at this point. So predictions are it may get worse that the market will go down again. So I think a lot of people are trying to get in while they still can, make the changes that they still want to make. But for me, I'm advising any clients that don't have to buy or sell to wait it out.
Yeah.
So I have 4 clients on the go, for example, right now. I have one listing where their house is finally going to be ready in the summer. They built over a year ago. So they have to sell their current house. I have one that's moving into Winnipeg, but from Brandon. So it's not like it's an international move or even interprovincial.
Yeah.
I have another one that's moving to Ontario, so she has to sell. And I have another one going through a divorce. So
Wow.
they're all essential at this point.
So a question to you, Jen, now, with all of this, will international buyers and stuff like that, will that now have some sort of regulation, like, you know, from people overseas? Well, you know, like.
Definitely. So the Manitoba Real Estate Association actually put in regulations early. So February, early March, we started seeing regulations put down on us so that buyers were no longer coming into homes as the beginning of their shopping processes. And then we heard more about it from probably mid-March. Mid-March was the last open house I did. And at that point, it was still an option. I think it was 2 days after I did that one that they said no more open houses. They're shut down.
Yeah.
So that was mid-March. Now we have a health disclosure form that all of our buyers have to fill out before they actually go out. The shopping process is all done online at this point. Mm-hmm. So for even my buyers at this point, I'm doing previews. Like, so it's just me going into the homes.
Right.
And I wear a mask, I have gloves, I have Lysol wipes. It's definitely changed, but it's much easier. So I have a buyer coming in on Saturday to see their home for the first time. Oh. They have their offer was accepted this week, but they're out of town. So it's all been online, and so they'll finally see their house on Saturday. So it's been interesting. Sellers, the showings are very, very limited. So the questions have to be, have you traveled? Have your clients traveled? Have you been in contact with anybody who's traveled? Are any of you sick? There are no children allowed on most showings because they're germ magnets, as we all know, right? Yeah. So, and they're, and it's not just that, but it's tough to rein them in when they're excited. They want to touch new things. Yeah. They want to be a part of the process, right? Yeah. So they've been restricted. So the showings that I've been doing with clients that are in town, if they have to bring their kids with them, which is usually the case because everybody's household bound, right? Yeah. The one partner will come in with me. We'll do a quick tour. I'm the only one touching anything, and it's with a Lysol wipe and a glove if I have to open doors or put on light switches. And then that partner goes into the car, sits with the kids, and the other partner comes in. So we have to book more time for showings, but there's less of them.
Wow, how things have changed. Okay, so ladies, we kind of threw up that question. I don't know if you had a chance to think about it, but it's all about social media. So how has it helped you, and how has it not? I am going to let it be mediated and guided by our Hue crew. You know, lovable. She is like the sweetest, nicest woman I've ever met, and always sees a positive. But she is a master of social media, and she knows whatever is going on everywhere. So, Susie, this is a loaded question, I know, but hey, social media.
Well, it's funny, you know, I actually just before this call, I had a call with some realtors and we were talking about how to market during a pandemic. I did a Zoom webinar with them and it was interesting because really one of the things that I was telling them, which I always tell, you know, marketers in the beginning, is that this, as usual, is not about you. And it's about how you're going to make people's lives easier as we are going through this crisis, yes,
Mhm.
but there's still opportunity for you to market without being icky about it, right? So, you talked about Jen, you talked about less showings and things like that. Okay, so then I challenged my realtor audience to say, okay, so what can you actually do for people right now? If you're doing grocery runs, are there clients of yours, past, present, future, that could use something? Could you use your office as a delivery or drop-off point for things? All of these things are challenging people to market differently and to really think about your place in the community and what it is that you're doing to help. So I always think, and Tracy, you said I'm always so positive and so optimistic. Sometimes I think I'm a bit of a Pollyanna, but I market from a place of empathy, and everything that I do is sort of framed through that lens of how you can be helpful. And when you're helpful and seen as valuable, that's when people trust you enough to buy from you. And so whether you're a brand or a person, those same principles apply. So I know in the first couple of weeks, everyone was, really kind of getting those emails, from brands that they didn't even know that they shopped with about what they're doing to handle the COVID crisis. And people are just like, I didn't even know that I needed to know this from a toothpaste company. Yet here's this email. So, okay, we're past that point now. So now you need to tell me what you're actually doing to help people. How are you making yourself, or how are you making this not about you, but how you can actually help people?
Wow. Okay. So Nicole, hi Nicole.
Hi.
Yes. Hi. So I guess social media, you were rebranding and everything. She's with Deer Lodge Center Foundation.
Oh, love, you guys are right down the street from me. Yay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, so how's
We'll have to
social
meet.
media? Yeah, I know. Well, your residents aren't on well, some might be on social media, but
Our residents aren't on social media. I would say most of them, but it's an opportunity for us to share with the community what it is that's going on, and reaching out how people want to help. That's the one thing that happens in a crisis. How can we help, right? Especially to those who are vulnerable. And we have such a wide range of residents and patients, and of course, we care for the veterans. So how can we help them? People have been so generous. They've responded. They've dropped off things. We had to put a stop to that because so much stuff was coming that we had to go through a process of sanitizing everything. So, and we're talking, there was not enough staff in order to devote to that in order to make it safe. So we started asking for a different way of contributing, so cash donations, but also through our well wishes program. So, and there are residents, and it's sad, but there are residents who don't have family, they don't have friends, and so we've got some people who have volunteered to write notes to those who don't have anybody. So that's what social media has done for us, and that that really warms your heart, because there are people who
yeah.
are very, very lonely to begin with, and then yet to have this crisis where there's that sense of everybody it's off, right? So if there can be comfort offered, that's really what we've gained through social media, and people are sharing. So as a result, more people are hearing and learning about Deer Lodge Center.
Well,
So
yeah,
that's been
so that's
positive.
positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Kirsten, hi. Yes.
Hi.
Well, you and your partner Charlotte are mental health and wellness people. You're very familiar with social media and Zoom. I want to throw it out there now. There's a lot of stuff, and Mary, I want you to jump into a lot of crazy stuff, on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, Instagram. How do you, or what do you recommend for us to not get too bogged down with all of the negativity, I guess?
Well, it's funny you say that, because I just had a conversation with my mom, who is 75 years old, and her and my dad are like on CNN all the time. So whenever I talk to her every day, she's giving me some updates that are typically pretty doom and gloom updates. But I think we have to be careful how much time we spend on our phones and social media right now, because it's really easy in this time when we're not able to go on with our regular life. And even my husband just said the other day, I've got to put this phone down. So, I think we need to make sure we're mindful of how much time we spend on our phones and our computers and such sites as Facebook, where you can get a lot of positive and a lot of negative messages and get kind of caught up in that. But however, that connection where you can FaceTime and we've had several virtual happy hours with friends. And that's really, really important because we can still stay connected although we're apart. So that I'm a bit of more of an extrovert, and I really need that. It gets a little too quiet around here at times. So I think it's got two sides to it. So we have to find that balance that works for everybody.
Yeah. Heather, how are you doing? How are you managing and balancing all of your social media?
Well, from a fitness perspective,
Yes.
it couldn't be better. Like just so many companies have really been so gracious and creative, putting out 1, 2, 3 multiple workouts a day for people to do at home. I think it's absolutely incredible. And I do think it's going to be important for the longevity of any small business,
Right.
to keep their clients engaged, so that when the opportunity is there for us to return to more normal exercise, which we all want. I mean, there's no question what's offered online is wonderful, but it's not the same as being part of a community and a facility.
And have a proper flooring and space.
That too. Proper equipment and somebody supervising what you're doing. But yeah, I think it's fantastic.
Wow. Hey, Nanette, how are you doing? How are the kids or your teens? They're all on social media, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely. They absolutely are. My daughter's actually giving a presentation right now for her school thing. So everyone's connected and relying on this way of just like what Kirsten said, you need to reach out and especially for them at their age. I was talking to my husband because I was like, okay, well, I don't really need to be out there because I've already chosen the person I want to spend my time with. Whereas at their age, they're very social people, right? Yeah. So they're on their phones a lot, and they need that. I get it, but we try to go, come and hang out with your folks. We're pretty cool people. So yeah, they're trying to adjust, as as I've said through our other Zoom events. They're trying to manage. They're trying to put a brave face, just to, Mom, we're okay, we're fine, we're good. But yeah, you see the sadness when they're like, I wish I really miss my friends, and so it's nice to have the ability to connect with their friends through social media. Sure.
So just want to say, Amy, Nanette is a hot hula fitness instructor. So we're going to have to link the two of you up together for sure, okay? For a presentation.
Absolutely.
Hey, it's
I
Sarah
love that.
behind us. Yes. Everyone, welcome Sarah. This is Sarah Osmond, and she's
Hi,
from
Sarah.
Shameless.
Hello.
So,
Hey, Sarah.
actually, so there is some big news, and we will continue the conversation about social media, but Sarah, I know you just popped in and I'm putting you on the spot, girl, but I'm just so excited about this news. I'm going to let you tell it because it's your baby.
Yes, for sure. I'm not sure if everyone read the release from the provincial government on April 14th. So April 14th is now the provincial day designated to raise awareness on the issue of non-consensual distribution and intimate images. It's the first of its sort in Canada. No other provinces have done that, have not dedicated a day to raise awareness on this issue yet. So I think it just makes me feel really, really honored and happy that right authorities are looking into this as they should be. This issue needs to be addressed because it has huge implications on victims of such crimes, and I don't think it's highlighted as much as it should be. So I'm great that we've dedicated a day where we'll be going into schools and having this open discussion on the effects of this issue in particular, but also just raising awareness that it's a crime. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. Sharing intimate images without consent, it's a crime.
So in case anybody, if you missed the audio, it's an awareness day to non-consensual distribution of intimate images awareness day. So it's April 14th. So Sarah, maybe can you give a little bit of background and context then to what this means to you personally and why it is so important?
For sure. So 2 years ago, April 13th, actually, I came home and me and my kids discovered a strange electrical socket in my bedroom. We started looking at it. We couldn't think of what it was. I started looking at my phone because it was in a wall, and I started looking at. I flipped through the photos in my phone, and I started looking at did I ever miss this? Did I not see this before? Why are we just noticing this right now? And luckily, I found a photo of that same wall, and sure enough, that thing was not there before. So we called the police, and all night they searched the house and they found more cameras. The next day, I was talking to a police officer in the major crimes unit area, and he was telling me that it's just going to take a while to get this through. Like they were giving me some this sense that it's just going to take a while. And as soon as I hang up, we are done talking with him, I get a call from my parents that my ex-husband's family is threatening that if I don't go and say to the police that this was all a prank, they're going to be releasing images, sexual images of myself on the internet. So April 14th is the day that I was threatened personally. It's a pretty huge day for me because it's a huge day more now because now we'll be more focused on making a difference, not letting this happen again to anyone, God forbid. But yeah, that day was a horrifying day for me and my kids, knowing that this might have happened. So we called back the police, and sure enough, they were able to match fingerprints to my ex-husband's, and they were able to capture fingerprints from inside the camera somehow. And that's a long story, but yeah, moving forward, 2 years from that day now, we've dedicated a day in our province that we'll be raising awareness on this issue.
Wow. Well, you've got a whole bunch of wonderful ladies here that I think will all jump on the bandwagon for this. And I'm kind of looking at you, Liz, too, in your profession and with your girls and everything. And I was going to ask you about social media because, you know, when we were talking, when everything was wonderful, you have to monitor them and what they're saying. But something like this, what Sarah now has spearheaded, is huge for you, too, as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And we've always been very sensitive, like even just with what we'll put on our website, you know, we're really careful about the images that we select because we understand too that a lot of these girls are teenagers, they go to high schools, people can take these images, and there's a lot of bullying that can occur. So we've always had a really acute awareness of the images and being protective of that.
Yeah.
Just, you know, because falling into the wrong hands, right? Yeah.
No, there's so many instances, Sarah, where this is really going to touch home. I'm going to take it over to Charlotte too, because we might as well be sharing good news about things that are rolling forward besides all of this pandemic. So Charlotte, big news for you and Kirsten and Robin Priest and all of your gang, hey, yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday was a huge day for our province as well. And I'm still celebrating what Sarah was able to accomplish. And I think that what the province announced yesterday was 4.5 years with many people working alongside to make this happen. They made an announcement that they will be implementing peer support into 2 emergency rooms, one in Dauphin and the CRC in Winnipeg. And this is something that has been, was noted in the Virgo report many years ago. And Kirsten and I are a huge believer that this is going to make a big difference in the lives of many people who access our hospitals with mental health challenges. So what that looks like is going forward. Now it's different with COVID to what the initial idea was, but when COVID and restrictions are relaxed and we are able to access into the emergency room, there will be a person of lived experience, both as an individual as well as a person with lived experience as a family member there to support somebody who shows up with mental health challenges. And this, not to be negative, but Winnipeg and our emergency rooms has had lots of people leave with lack of hope and have walked out and taken their life. More so in our city and province than anywhere I know of in Canada. I spent this morning just on my hands. I can name 15 people that I know in the last 4 years. I mean, why do I know that? Like, it's terrible. So this is what we're really hoping is going to make a difference. And the peer worker will also follow that person on their journey with resources and work with them. So it's not like you're left hanging after you leave the emergency room. So
Wow.
thrilled with the province. And I also want to say that this wasn't a reaction of COVID. Kristen and I have known this secret since early February, but just working through Robin and and I have to say we're working with the Schizophrenia Society. They're the peer organization that is implementing it. My company is doing the training piece, as well as Kristen and I will be following up with all the family peer workers. But Schizophrenia Society is the lead on this. We see them as the leaders in peer support in our province. They are going in under a rebranding called Peer-to-Peer Connections. So it's not just for people who have schizophrenia or their loved ones. It's for all mental health, whether you have a diagnosis or not. So
Wow.
shout out to Schizophrenia Society. So.
That's my clapping.
Yeah.
Yes, I know. So Karen, sorry, we kind of left you. Well, you're on the top corner of my screen here, but well, you can say hi to Mary now.
I say hi to Mary almost daily.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Yes. So yeah, so we
Anyways,
heard some great news, but yeah, so your thoughts and comments too on everything.
Well, I thought, yeah, there's so many different conversations going on here. So, you know, when Mary introduced the whole food concept, and, you know, what's interesting for me is, you know, I've been an empty nester now for a few years, and I got sort of out of the habit of planning my meals and grocery shopping, you know, once a week when I had my family living, when my kids were living at home. And I was almost going to the grocery store almost every day. And yet my husband would always say, there's no food in the fridge. But, you know, I was sort of I get up in the morning and I would decide what I was going to have for dinner that night. And so, you know, part of my outing that day would be going to the grocery store, taking the dog for a walk, and, you know, I'd have a meal, but there'd be no food in the fridge. So now again, I'm planning my meals again, going to the grocery store once a week. I don't want to go any more than that. And that's really interesting too, going to the grocery store, because it's just changed so much. You know, a couple of weeks ago, it was, you know, we were doing the social distancing. Now we've got the arrows. Now everyone's wearing masks. You know, it just seems to be changing all the time. In terms of social media, one of the things, you know, I have been working out on Instagram Live every day with my gym that's posting daily workouts, and that's been great. The Takeout Wednesdays is something that's just started on Facebook. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but I guess there's some. Yeah, it's
a movement.
And so I think that's just great. I think they're promoting. You know, we want to support our restaurants, and so they're really promoting these Takeout Wednesdays where they have concerts on Facebook Live, and I think that's really positive. And you know, we did it last night too, and I didn't have to cook. Yeah. And we got a great concert out of it. And I've also been watching Melissa Etheridge live every day. She's amazing. She comes on at 5 o'clock Winnipeg time. And so we've been sort of having our little happy hour watching Melissa before dinner. And so that's all been good.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
Yes. So Mary, how are you coping with everything, you and your family?
Me? Actually, I was going to actually add something else, what Susie said for Jen. So in our community, it's a summer community, and we have 67 families that are here now that have come from all over. And I was sitting in my beautiful home thinking, I've got to make a difference in the world. I can't just sit here and take advantage of stuff. But I was thinking, so I created a pop-up store I got in touch with Cisco, they're hurting as well because they supply restaurants and all the rest. And I happen to have an account with them. So I got in touch with them. I created an order form, and I've been doing this Excel spreadsheets for all this stuff. Thankfully, my son has helped me because it's beyond. So I have all these management tools and everything put into place. But So I created a pop-up shop for the people in this community to buy sort of the basics, flour, yeast, things we want, milk, eggs, stuff like that, vegetables, produce, because I want to reduce the amount of people going into food stores. And then I took the difference of what it would cost in a normal store, and I'm putting that towards the food banks. So this week, for example, I raised $800 to go to the food banks.
Nice.
And I'm just thinking that
Amazing.
yeah, but and it's listen, I have a complete respect for food stores now, because honestly it is a hell of a lot of work, and there's like leftovers. So I have a lot of zucchinis left over from this order, so I'm going to actually start making zucchini muffins, gluten and non-gluten, to share for people to buy. So it adds one more thing. And if we have any leftovers after that, it all goes to the food banks at the end of the week. So we're donating whatever we don't sell, and we'll take the loss, and that's going to be our donation, as well as getting money from everyone buying. And anyway, so what I was thinking for, if there are items that you can maybe supply to your clients or whatever, it's amazing the amount of emails I have gotten from people going, thank you so much for just making a difference in our lives. People that, you know, can afford anything or whatever, but they just don't want to go to stores and stuff. So it's been really fascinating to see how that has changed people's lives. So I completely agree with having empathy, and actually, if that's part of your personality, if you did the Myers-Briggs, and empathy is very high on mine. So though I'm an extrovert, so extrovert is killing me not to be able to go out and see people, but this, I'm working with 3 other people, so it's actually been fantastic. We wear masks and gloves and all the rest, but it's been great to have that contact and also make a difference in people's lives. So it's been good.
So can we do something? Can we do something? Because I really do like the Wednesday takeout, the restaurants. And I was, actually just thinking about our conversation the other day with the arts and culture, entertainment. Like, look at all of our performers that, are there's nothing for them to do. Yeah, maybe we could have like designate a day each day of the week to support. Right, Susie?
Oh.
Audio.
Yes, for sure. So one of the things too is to, like with the takeout day yesterday, like I love the idea, but don't wait till Wednesday to order takeout, because we don't need to overwhelm these restaurants that are running on a skeleton crew on one day a week. Yeah. So, I mean, feel free to order, do curbside pickup, whatever it is. And I'm also telling people, if you can order directly from the restaurant, please do that, because the meal delivery companies are taking 25 to 30% away from those restaurants. So they need every dollar they can get. And it also lessens the amount of people touching your food. So if you can order directly from the restaurant, please do that instead. And yeah, anything that you can do in your community to help people out, I think is a huge help. And there are lots of things that we can do that we don't need to, like touch people. We can still maintain physical distancing and things like that. Whether it's checking on a neighbor and saying, I'm going to the store tomorrow, is there anything I can get you? Like all of those things. And even just, ordering, little cards and gifts for people and sending them, or writing a letter and sending them, like all these things that we once took for granted and thought, were antiquated, can suddenly become new again. And we can still use those to foster personal connections. The second piece I want to add is about social media and your kids. So your kids are spending a lot of time on social media these days. Like you were saying, Nanette, your kids are on TikTok, they're on YouTube, they're whatever. They are getting a lot of false information out there about what this pandemic is all about. So I just did a media hit yesterday with CBC, and we were talking about how you need to be talking with your kids about where they're getting their information from. Every day, the province is holding its own press conference with Dr. Brent Rusin and Lynette Siragusa. The president or the prime minister's office holds a conference every single day. If you can watch those with your kids and ask what they're hearing from these trusted resources, including Dr. Tam, versus what they're hearing on social media, you need to help mitigate that information for them and help them understand what's real and what's not real out there, what's fake and what's actual, rumor versus what's reality and what's happening in our community.
Wow. Well, that was actually one question I was going to actually ask you, Susie, is all the fake news, or they don't want to coin anything from President Trump, but
there was a number that I saw today the segment I was doing was about misinformation on social media. And there was a number that I saw this morning that said Facebook let 40 million pieces of fake news proliferate on their site last month. 40 million. So, I mean, we are up against, an avalanche of misinformation. So if you are not getting your information from a trusted medical resource or a government agency, please do not take it as fact. Please fact check everything that you read and hear, and do not share false information on social media in any way, shape, or form. And what you can do is report it instead, and say that it's sharing fake news, or it's sharing malicious links as well, because a lot of these things have links that are to phishing sites and things like that. Get rid of the source and stop sharing them.
Wow. Well, thank you, Susie. All right. We'll all go and reevaluate our Facebook account. I want to again, so Amy too, getting back to social media and everything like that, that's a big part of the I Am Love project, right, Amy?
Right, yeah. But we've been kind of MIA. Again, I'm taking COVID as a restart button, just to reevaluate and see where we can support, fill the gap currently in our COVID situation, instead of really focusing on our events. Yeah. So I haven't been posting much and whatnot. Yeah.
Well, you're great for ideas, so I'm going to leave it to you to think of another community idea. We have all of these wonderful ladies here that will all support you, and because I think we can do something, and you're right, all of you, I think we all care, and we all want to give. So, and Sarah, congratulations. This is huge. And I mean, in the midst of all of this, and we're here to support you. So, we want to hear from you too. I mean, social media is a big part of what you do, right? To connect with your women. Oh, your audio.
Yikes, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm still not getting a hang of this Zoom thing.
Neither am I.
Yes, so everything right now, all our sessions are being held online, but also our marketing, our branding, everything is basically on social media.
Oh, yeah. And so, Mary, I know that you have to leave soon. Can you send me any of your websites? Send us the website to Eats, or, any of your, or how we can connect with you. And, and please, you're more than welcome to jump in. It's noon your time, every Tuesday and Thursday.
Thank you very much. It was
Just-
great
we just
to
wanna
hear.
check- Yeah.
No, but I love what everyone's doing, and I'm going to, I actually got in touch with a few people. So thank you very much.
And bring
I
them
will,
on too. Yeah. And yeah.
I will check in again. I love it.
Okay.
Congratulations. Honestly, everyone's doing an amazing job. So I'm really impressed. And it's so great to hear positive, great stories. It's really, it's so much better than listening to the media.
And still a promise, when you come to Winnipeg, I have all these volunteers that will allow you into their kitchen and open their fridge and make something with their leftovers, or not.
I actually would love to do that. I'm very excited to do that. So we will make a plan when I can get on a plane again. So that would be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you got a crew here, so.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll speak soon.
Okay. Stay safe.
Thank you.
Bye, Mary.
Bye.
Bye. So, who has pets?
Oh, I do.
Oh, look at all of these. I thought, Nicole, you had a pet.
Nope,
No.
just children.
Oh, well, yeah, I might have to include that because I don't have a pet. So I want to organize, and I have been in contact with Amin at the Humane Society, but I want to do a show with our pets. So talk about our pet. They get to see all the other pets. I know maybe we'll have a lot of barking. I don't know, but so I'm glad that all of you have pets. So I will be in touch with you. And again, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday. And really thank you, ladies. And please, extend the invitation to anybody you think out there that might want to. Hey, maybe Heather can join us. Liz.
Yes, she's here in town. So she's been quarantining in Winnipeg as opposed to Los Angeles. So she's
here. So she'd be amazing. And actually, I do have a story of 6 degrees of separation or less with Heather.
Always.
So,
yes.
so let's be in touch. Or send her the link, and
For sure.
Yeah, so you guys can join next week. But okay, so next week might be a pet virtual chat. I think would help everybody, right? I said, you know what? Well,
Sure.
you puppies, kittens, babies, right? Makes everybody
My
smile.
cat actually had to go to the vet when this all started.
Oh,
No,
no.
this is a true story because she got a respiratory infection. There she is. And, and apparently the vet told me it's because she's stressed out because we're home. So all of that because there was a change to her routine. I was like, so apparently this COVID even affects your pets.
I'll try and grab the little pet bunny that's been in our backyard all weekend. So it's very cute. It just kind of it's like sits there. I don't know, looking at what, but it's very still and very cute. But anyway, yeah. Well, congratulations, Charlotte and Kirsten. I mean, this is very exciting news, and maybe it'll make for a great story once we're all back to some sort of normalcy, right?
Yeah.
To see how it works and how effective it is. And a real special congratulations to you, Sarah. Oh my goodness. Oh, and Sarah too. I've got in touch with Rochelle Squires, and she gave me Kathy Cox's number. So I'm going to try and arrange for the two to come on. So Rochelle Squires is our MLA for Real, and Kathy Cox is the Minister of Women in Status, I think, or something like that. Yeah. So she was the minister that signed the declaration, and so obviously she can talk more about it. And yeah, it'd be great too, and Susie too, and all of you ladies, because I'm curious on talking more about awareness of how are you going to do it, and how are plans going to start, because you're going to have to start planning now, right, for next year and
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we're here to help, Sarah, and come up with ideas. And thank you so much for sharing your story.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think the more people start talking about it, the more I think it's more awareness and education at this time, that it's just a horrific thing to do. It has a lot of effects on the victims, and it's just like as simple as I always say, it's just a crime, like period, full stop. It's a crime. I think it's become second nature to just take screenshots and forward it to people. We do all the time, and we don't realize that when it comes to intimate images, it becomes a crime. So I think it's just breaking that habit that it becomes a crime at that point.
Yeah, no. And Jen, I want you back to give us more tips on how to style our homes, because God knows we've got a lot of time on our home. I have some nice pussy willows. Did you see that in the background?
They're beautiful. Yeah.
Oh, well. Okay.
Well, yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And I ordered all my seeds for my garden, so I'm happy about that. I took 3 sites to get all the different seeds I wanted.
Okay, we can have a comment. We'll have a chat next week about gardening, right? Because it's it's going to start soon. It's almost the end of April, and what are the greenhouses going to do? And the down the street little homes that make their parking lot full of flowers. Yeah, so you might be all going to Walmart and buying fake flowers. I don't know. I hope not.
I think they're delivering. The gardening places are all delivering.
Oh, thank you, Liz. Yeah. She's going,
Good to know.
Oh, wow. So this is good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I wanted just to add one thing about social media, and it's something that Nanette mentioned on Tuesday, that she's been living her whole life waiting for this moment of COVID because she's an introvert. And really, well, you know what? It's funny because we actually, my business partner did a segment using the story I told about you, and she talked about Tigger and Eeyore as the extrovert and introvert, and you can see it on Robin Priest's Facebook site. But it's when you notice on your social media feeds that you're not seeing from your extrovert friends posting like there always are, just reach out to them and check in, because the extroverts are really struggling right now, and because they're not getting that human contact. So I reached out to a girlfriend yesterday because I'm like, I haven't seen you on Instagram. Usually you're seeing her whole life story, and she appreciated me reaching out to her because she's been struggling. and the tone we're seeing in the mental, like amongst peer supporters, and I'm talking to people all across the world, is this week is an angry week for a lot of people. They're like, okay, we're done, you know, there's no end in sight. So there's a real anger tone with this week with people's mental health. So again, just, you know, if you see something on social media that's not sitting right with a friend, Kristen and I talk a lot about our spidey senses. Something's not sitting right with you, if you know, whether it's a friend or family member, reach out, check in with them, and you know, see how they're doing. So social media can be a good thing in that case.
I would add to that too, like Charlotte's absolutely right in terms of the timing. So we're 3 weeks kind of into this for most people who may have been, you know, laid off or let go from their jobs, or they've had their lives changed. So 3 weeks and 3 months, I think, are sort of the time zones that we're going to see in terms of people really struggling to adjust in terms of what this quote unquote new normal is. And yeah, absolutely. Emotions are running high right now. And we've had an interesting week with the kids as well. And I'm trying to tell myself before I react to anything, this is not really what this is about. This is about other things. It's only manifesting this way. And so if you can kind of talk yourself through your initial reaction through that lens, give yourself a wide berth and give everybody around you a wide berth to react to things right now.
Yeah, and if you need a timeout, please take it. Like moms need timeouts too, and you know, whether that's going, you know, exercise or going for a walk. But if you feel like you're reacting exactly what Susie said, you know, step back, because there is a lot of emotion.
Right. Okay. Well, it's lunchtime. Maybe it's cocktail time. I don't know. Well,
And you're repeating now, Tracy. Wine goes with lunch all the time.
I think so. Yeah. Well, I just don't know when we get back to our whatever lives. I'm just going to need to take a nap or have a cocktail at 4 o'clock. That's just it. Well, you girls, stay safe. Have a great weekend. And we'll see you back on Tuesday. And I'll keep you posted about the pet virtual chat. You know. They don't have to stay for the full one, of course, you know. Yeah, so I just thought it'd be kind of fun, and you know, and yeah, Susie, we'll do our children instead of pets. Except mine are too big.
I'm happy to just sit back and watch. Works for me.
Me
too.
All right. Okay. Is there anything anybody else wants to chime in?
I just quickly wanted to say thank you. Thank you everyone for the support and love that I received. Just simply thank you.
Well, you're an amazing woman.
Yeah. So yeah, the website is on our Facebook and everything like that. And yeah, hopefully Sarah, and this is my intention too, with Amy and her project, is that we can all connect, because I think each and every one of you as individuals and even your businesses can help out with both with Amy and Sarah. Yeah. These young women are, I mean, they're doing amazing things. So we just want to make sure that it's even lifted up further. All right. Okay. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.
Isolation.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Everyone, stay safe.
Bye.
Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Yeah, you too. Bye-bye.